next presentation, I'd like to introduce Nadine Kouba. Nadine Kouba, who has presented workshops, consulted, and coached individuals across the U.S. and globally in the Asia-Pacific region, the Middle East, and Europe. Nadine brings a thoughtful approach to her coaching. She helps the client surface their goals and then create work and an action plan that achieves their desired results. Solving a business problem, handling a people issue, developing personal leadership, executive presence, or planning their career. Dr. Kouba's professional credentials are a testament to her expertise. She is a certified professional coach, an international best-selling author, and a sought-after speaker. Today, Nadine will talk about conquering compromised decision-making, and she will reveal to us how stress can compromise our decision-making, and she'll give us several ways to regain control. Please welcome Nadine Kouba.
Good morning. How many of you have come out of a very challenging situation, perhaps stressful, and after it was over, a few days, a few weeks, maybe a month, suddenly you're asking yourself, what kind of decisions did I just make?
Say that again.
What kind of decisions did I just make? Ever question your decision-making process? Any hands?
Yes.
Okay. If you're like me, you probably stood back and said, what was I thinking? Or was I thinking at all? And when you look at the quality of those decisions, they might have been very poor and possibly even biased. And that is what happens to us when there is a high stress situation or perhaps chaos. We will react. The good news here is that you can conquer that compromised decision-making and you can win. And so what I plan to talk to you about today is what causes compromised decision-making. None of us gave us a instruction manual to our body or our brain when we were born. Mm-hmm. And it's a sad fact because if you don't understand how your brain is operating, it may not be serving you as well as it could be. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And then when we're stressed, what's actually happening in the brain? Many of you have heard about the stress reaction and your body gets prepared to fight or to flee. Well, it means there's a lot of hormones getting kicked out to get you ready to do that. But what most people don't know is how that affects your brain and your thinking. We know about our body getting ready to run or to fight, but what's our brain doing when we're stressed like that? Also, want to share with you some different things you can do to combat that compromised decision-making. So, neuroscientists have studied humans and look at the fact that we want to escape danger, but we definitely want to seek rewards. And it's actually I see people on the camera, so I'll step back, that we're actually having a stimulus response to that situation. And they call it the approach avoid. So what does that mean for us on a daily basis? Sounds good, right? We want reward, we want to escape danger. Well, Dr. David Rock, who is a neuroscientist, said there's 5 areas that seem to really affect us. When we have them, we feel rewarded and we flourish. But when we don't have them, that's when it can cause us to go into a stress reaction and start having compromised decision making. And it depends on how great of a threat or a danger you perceive. So in some cases you may lose some of these, but it won't cause you to be compromised, but there are other times when it will. So when he talks about status, he's talking about how do we feel amongst other people. You heard the term pecking order. So where do I stand? Where am I respected? How do I feel? If I suddenly feel disrespected, or maybe somebody criticizes me about a task I just did, I may feel I've lost my status. And if I've done that, I can react. The second thing has to do with certainty. Our brain is always trying to forecast the future, wants to prepare us, make us to be ready. So anytime we get a message that something isn't certain, again, we can react. So let's say somebody says something to you, but it's not totally truthful. That can cause you to have a danger signal and become stressed, because now my certainty's been upheavaled. The third thing has to do with autonomy, and that's our capability of feeling that we can make decisions. So if rules are clear, they make sense, we're able to operate, we're feeling good, we're being rewarded. However, any of you have ever been micromanaged? Or very restrictive regulations, we are challenged and we're going to react. The next one has to do with relatedness, the relationships. How do I feel I fit with other people? And with relatedness, all I'll say to you is, think about walking into any networking meeting. We all look for people we know. Because if we see somebody we know, we feel like we can belong and we're comfortable. If we walk into that meeting and we don't, then we're not very comfortable with it. Then fairness has to do, we want to interact with people where we're feeling we're being fairly treated, and that could have to do if I'm viewing someone else and I don't think they're being fairly treated, I can react to that. So if you think someone has put in some strange terms in an agreement, you might react to that. Or if I'm thinking that it's bait and switch, like in advertising, I'm going to react to that, thinking it's not fair, somebody's challenging me. So when these things happen, what's going on in the brain? Well, we have a rational brain where we assign meaning. However, when a stimulus comes in, it comes in through the base of our neck, goes to our limbic brain, and our limbic brain is where the amygdala resides. And if our limbic brain is assessing that this is truly danger or a threat, it goes into action, and it will actually stop anything going up to our executive brain. It'll cut off access to it. And the good news about the limbic brain is literally, if you're walking down the street, it's dark at night, you see somebody walking towards you, your limbic brain in less than a second, 0.7, from 10 feet away, your limbic brain assesses whether that person is like you, not like you, or a threat. And you will prepare to either fight or flee, maybe across the street. A lot of women will grab their purse and hold it tightly because it's like, don't know what's happening. So the limbic brain is taking care of us, has for thousands of years. It does a great job. Okay, let me get to my next slide. Talk about that. Okay, very quickly. We have the limbic brain, and part of the limbic brain is the hippocampus. It stores things that we've done, but it doesn't store how we've done them. You'll just know you've done them, but you won't know how you did it. So if you're highly stressed and you know you did something, but for the life of you can't figure out how you did it, it's because you're not accessing your executive brain. And your executive brain is then your prefrontal cortex, which is where all rational decision-making is, creativity, loyalty, ethics, all the kinds of good stuff you can think about. You're stressed, the limbic brain cuts you off from accessing your upper brain, and it kicks out the hormones that get you ready to fight or flee. We've got cortisol, adrenaline, and testosterone. The thing you need to know about cortisol is it has a 26-hour shelf life. So if I get triggered today, tomorrow I get triggered again, that's another 26 hours. What if I get triggered again on the third day? Another 26 hours. After 2 or 3 days, and you're not getting enough sleep, it is the equivalent of working drunk, because your brain has not washed itself of all those chemicals, and that's compromising your decision making. And the brain needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep to wash itself of all those chemicals. So if you're highly stressed, you're not sleeping, guess what? It's not happening. So we're going to talk to some other things you can do to help combat this, if you're in that high stress mode. So what we really want to do is get some other hormones flowing, and it has to do with being with other people, feeling good about who we're with. You may have heard that we need at least 7 hugs a day to be to be healthy. Well, when you hug someone, pet a pet, hug a kid, your significant other, or if push comes to shove, hug yourself. It works. It works. It will start kicking out oxytocin, which is the human bonding hormone, which helps to open the doors then to the executive brain. Serotonin is another one that can kick out, and it also helps you to sleep, but it helps with creativity and mood. And then we've got dopamine. Dopamine is another thing that helps to control mood. And the last one is endorphins. You've heard of runner's high? Those are endorphins. It's the body's natural painkillers. But here's the good news, you don't have to run to get them. If you laugh, you kick out endorphins. So if you ever laugh and you suddenly go, gee, I feel better, you just legally narcotized yourself. you kicked out legal drugs, right? You can be tested and you will come out clear. So we want to do that, and that's why I'm saying you need to know a little bit about your brain, or it can really get in the way for you. Come on, baby. Oops. Yeah. There we go. So how can you control some of this stress? Sorry, Theo. One is recognize that when you have a reaction, it can be emotional. When you make decisions in your limbic brain, that's where all your emotions reside. It means your decisions are emotional, and that's where unconscious bias resides. So you may be making biased decisions as well. So if we can recognize that, it tells us I want to get a hold of it now. I want to stop it. So one thing is to move. Take a 20-minute walk, 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back. You burn off cortisol naturally. So if you're not sleeping at night, at least you can burn it off with some of your exercise. Another thing is to breathe. Deep breathing. It literally helps you to center yourself, you oxygenate your body, and by doing the deep breathing, you break some of that chatter in your brain, and it moves you forward. Connect with other people, friends, pets, grandkids, kids, nieces, nephews, neighbors. Laugh, as I said. Reader's Digest used to have all those little jokes in it where you could read it and laugh. But when we talk about really looking at being creative, being innovative, laughter oftentimes comes with it. As we make a mistake and we laugh at ourselves, it's very helpful. Some people aren't great with breathing or meditation, so they want to do tense or relaxation. There are all kinds of exercises out there where you tense up a muscle and relax it. You start from your top of your head, work down to your toes, and as you tense and relax each set of muscles, it helps you to break that flow as well. Many people like meditation, some people prefer prayer, and then some people like the visual exercises where you sit there and you imagine yourself going down a staircase, and when you come out, it's at that ideal spot for yourself, whether it's under a tree, next to a stream, at the beach, in the mountains, and you imagine yourself there. By taking that visual exercise, you can break that stress mode as well. And then I have a minute or two left, so I'm going to ask you to sit in your chair in a dignified position. Yeah, hands relaxed, but so your body's there. I want you to breathe in through your nose slowly and feel your chest expand, maybe your belly actually rises a bit. And then I want you to exhale through your nose and feel your lungs empty, and you'll feel your stomach go back. You can do 10 of those. If you do 10 of those, it will help you to break some of that stress you may be feeling. And some of you may have heard of box breathing or square breathing. It was created by a U.S. Navy SEAL. The VA uses it with PTSD victims. But with square breathing, you're sitting in a dignified position, but everything happens to the count of 4. You breathe in through your nose to the count of 4. You pause to the count of 4. you exhale to the count of 4 and pause to the count of 4 before you begin that cycle again. And the SEALs actually do box breathing before they go out and they do some of their major exercises. And when you do box breathing particularly, because you've got to count 1 to 4 in your head about taking it in, pausing, exhaling, and then pausing, it stops that little professor in your brain that's chatting away and doing all that, and it helps you to center yourself, stop the flow, and get back in control. So we are all subjected to reacting to life. It happens. There's going to be several ways in which it can happen, whether it's status or certainty, autonomy, relatedness, or fairness. But if we know that, we can intervene and make sure that a week or 2 after we've had this stressful, challenging situation, we're not sitting there going, what was I thinking? How could I have made that decision? Instead, you'll get back in control and you'll be able to make the kinds of decisions you want to make, whether it's your personal life or your business life. So thank you very much for your time and attention. And is there a question or two? I think I have 30 seconds left.
You have 5 minutes for questions.
Oh, I have 5 minutes for questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came in on time. We have 5 minutes if you have questions.
So here, I'll throw the question. So you said about the cortisol, so I guess my question should be, what should I be drinking at work? I'm kidding. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, what you secrete versus what you take in, 2 different things. So, yeah, all those hormones are produced by your body. What I didn't mention to you is there are some apps available to you, as well as some YouTubes that are out there for those of you that want to pursue some other methods. And Calm, Headspace, Insight, Timer are apps you can use if you so desire. And then 2 people who do a lot of meditation. John Kabat-Zinn was one of the original folks, probably back in the 70s and 80s, that was looking at meditation and different forms of meditation. He's on YouTube actually walking people through different kinds of exercises. And then you also have Deepak Chopra, who does a variety of different meditation exercises, from the visual to the tensor to other types of meditation. So there are some helpful things out there you can use. So while I can't tell you what to drink instead to combat it,
I can recommend some things.
Oh, yeah.
I am unique, and I have no stress.
God bless you.
In fact, if you think about it, stress spelled backwards is desserts. It is an opportunity. I laugh at myself, and I've got so much to laugh at. It keeps me going.
Well, you're narcotizing yourself legally all the time then, John. No wonder you're not stressless. You've just given yourself painkillers on a regular basis. But, and you know, there's bad stress and there's good stress. We talk about stress, but there's also eustress, which is good stress. However, if you win the lottery, it might be eustress, but you're still going to say, I don't believe it, right? And then you're going to do, yeah, please.
The direct path to the nervous system is the breath, and it doesn't have to be complicated at all. It's just to de-stress. This comes from yoga. You just simply exhale longer than you inhale, and that's it. And that's the box breathing just guarantees that that's what will happen.
Yeah.
That there's more time between the exhale to the inhale. And if you want to create good stress, if you're just sitting on the couch and you have to move, and you can just simply shorten your exhale. Just inhale longer than you exhale. So just breathe a little faster and it'll get you moving. It really is that simple.
Thank you. And we have a master yoga teacher here too.
Like
who
this,
can-
just like it'll. And then as you perk up, just lean into the, okay, I'm perking up, here we go, and then up, so you're, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Peggy.
I had a question. When you talk about the deep breathing and that, I have noticed what you think as you do the breathing makes a difference. Because I find a lot of anxious people tend to continue their anxious thoughts. I think you're hyperventilating, you're teaching yourself to hyperventilate. But if you're teaching to do the counting or to think positive affirmations, breathing in, negative affirmations, breathing out, you're actually, like I said, changing your heart rate, your thoughts, and et cetera.
I think that's a great observation, because that's why there's a number of different kinds of breathing exercises out there. And some of it is, do you need to cut the chatter in your brain? And if you do, that's why the box breathing really can help, is because you have to concentrate on the counting. But you're right, some people can, when they're breathing, they're not thinking about a slow breath, they just,
Yeah.
which is
Exactly.
more energizing than, yeah, Richard.
I have found that if you have trouble sleeping, you focus on your breathing, and it's amazing because your mind, you just block out all the other crap that's going on in your head. And you just start taking deep breaths and then focus on that.
It helps tremendously. Some people, that's when they do a gratitude practice. Is if I'm really stressed, then before I go to sleep, I start thinking about what are the things I'm grateful for, whether we're surviving the day or I have grandkids or whatever it might be. And that relieves some of the stress enough to, yeah, just like you're saying, deep breathing allows you to get to sleep. And sleep is critical. So, all right.
Thank you.